A common thought in baseball is that the home run derby can really hurt a player's season by changing the mechanics of how they swing and hit the baseball. With the derby just around the corner, I want to look at the past 5 winners and see if that's the case. Before we get into it, guys, please like and sub if you are new and enjoy baseball content. We have podcasts where we talk everything ball, analysis videos breaking down players around the league, and we are also running a giveaway for a free All-Star jersey right now if you subscribe, so check that out. Alright, heading back to 2015, the winner of the Home Run Derby was Todd Frazier. Before the Derby, Frazier was rolling with 25 dingers, 57 RBIs, an incredible slash, good for an OPS of 922. However, after the Derby though, Frazier was a completely different player. In that second half of the year, he only had 10 home runs, 32 RBIs, a very weak slash, and a subpar OPS. So in Frazier's case, it looks like the Derby could have really taken a toll on him. Moving on to 2016, Frazier was back in the Derby again and made it pretty far, but this time didn't come home with the hardware. The winner here was none other than Giancarlo Stanton. Now, before the contest began, Stanton had amassed 20 home runs, 50 RBIs, a pretty solid slash, and an OPS of 823. Now, I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to evaluate exactly how the home run affected Stanton because in that second half of the year, he did get hurt a decent amount. So because of that, he didn't play quite as much as he could have. But there wasn't that steep of a drop-off from Stanton. His OPS only dropped 23 points to 800. He also hit 7 more dingers in only 35 games started. So for Stanton, I would argue that the Derby didn't really do a whole lot to him at all. 2017 now, and we get the God-tier year from Aaron Judge. In this contest, he was able to edge out Miguel Sano and become the winner. Now, it is notable that for Judge, his first half was significantly better than his second half post-Derby. In the first half, 33 bombs, 68 RBIs, an extraterrestrial slash, good for a 1.165 OPS. That all dropped to 22 bombs, 48 RBIs, a more human slash, and a still awesome 939 OPS. Now here's the thing, he was still amazing in the second half, but we can't ignore that there was definitely a drop there. Whether this was due to the Derby or just because a 725 slugging is messed up and unsustainable, that's something that we don't know. In 2018, we get a bit of an outlier from the group. Big boy Bryce comes clutch and beats Kyle Schwarber for the win. Now, this is an interesting one because Harper actually got better after the Derby. Walking in with 23 home runs, 54 RBIs, a poor batting average, but still a killer 833 OPS, Harper raised almost all of those numbers after the Derby, batting in 11 home runs, 46 RBIs, a far better batting average and overall slash line, and an OPS close to 1. Now, I know the production numbers were down, but he also had roughly 100 less at-bats in the second half. So it's clear that after the Derby, Harper became a much more balanced hitter in that second half. Last, we have the 2019 winner and rookie phenom, Pete Alonso. This dude strolls into the Derby with 30 home runs, 68 RBIs, an amazing slash, and an OPS over 1. Big Pete was right up there with Aaron Judge as having one of the best rookie seasons ever. Now, although he still popped off in the second half, it was to a slightly lesser extent, having 23 bombs, 52 RBIs, a nice slugging but rough batting average, and still a good OPS of 863. So, fair to say, Alonso definitely had a bit of a dip after the Derby. So what does this all mean? Well, in conclusion, there does seem to be a bit of a trend where players drop off a bit post-Derby, but it's also still unclear to me if that's based directly on the Derby, on the All-Star break as a whole, or because their paces were just unsustainable to begin with. The fallacy here is that most likely if you're in the Home Run Derby, you're probably running really hot in the first half to begin with, and running that hot is really hard to sustain over 162 games. So even though there's probably an element where your swing changes a little bit, I would argue that the Derby having a negative impact is totally based on the individual player. And for somebody like a Bryce Harper, he takes that momentum and gets better after the Derby. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I also want to hear who you think is taking home the crown this season. And guys, thank you so much for watching.